Making marijuana or cannabis legal in the state of Texas is the right thing to do, full stop, but it's also the right thing to do for veterans.
I have a condition called trigeminal neuralgia, which is a nerve damage on the right side of my face. It's very hard to live with. I was just hospitalized for 2 weeks for it, and I'm tired of it. You know, cannabis helps me, so I'm still medicating myself to stay alive for my husband and my daughter. How are we gonna work with these reps and these senators to make sure that the right bill is set on your desk to sign?
Most Texans support legalization of cannabis in this state. Why are most legislators and all statewide officials standing in the way? It's because we haven't brought this full democracy to bear on them. Winning political power and resetting this conversation around our priorities, including legalization of marijuana, is huge. And then I know that when colleagues on the other side of the aisle hear from these veterans that public sentiment that could threaten their reelection in 2024, I think that they're going to do the right thing.
If somebody has a gram of weed on them, minimum is 90 days in jail. How would you ensure civilians or just regular people don't get thrown in jail for a long period of time just for something so simple?
There's no shortage of real life or death priorities that we want law enforcement to focus on, but a small amount of weed in your pocket is not one of them. And at a time of rising crime in Texas under Greg Abbott, I think we need to get the focus back on where we can do the most good. The Texas Department of Public Safety can make sure that we're focusing on the really big fish that we need to fry. You know, human smuggling and trafficking, the trafficking of fentanyl and the kinds of drugs that are actually killing people in our community right now.
So yesterday I had a friend who decided to tell me about the losing of his daughter, or when she passed from cancer. She became addicted to Dilaudid because that's what she was prescribed. And towards the end of her life, he actually chose to go out and get her marijuana. He could point out how ridiculous it is that somebody who is facing their utter mortality at the end of their life can't even legally have access to something that will help.
I'm an advocate for completely ending the prohibition of marijuana. Some people want to do it recreationally, but some people literally need it. Folks who are at end of life, folks with fibromyalgia, folks with glaucoma, folks with a variety of conditions who don't want to be hooked on prescription drugs that they may not be able to afford in the first place. This is the right thing to do. We're spending $500 million a year locking people up, like the father of this woman, if he had been pulled over and arrested, for possession of a substance that is legal in most of the states of this country. We're also losing out on about $500 million if we had taxed the regulated and controlled sale of marijuana.
Would you be clearing old marijuana arrests county and state? And also, would you have a program in place that would prioritize the permits for especially people of color who have been affected more often by these arrests, prioritizing their permits to be either growers or shop owners?
I'm a big believer in the expungement of arrest records and convictions for marijuana, especially for possession. You don't want that hanging on your record for the rest of your life. Anglo-Texans, Hispanic Texans, African-American Texans, all use marijuana at roughly the same rate, but disproportionately it is black and brown Texans who are stopped, who are frisked, who are incarcerated, who upon release have to check a box on every employment application form saying, I've got this conviction, who no longer qualify for student loans. Let's make sure that those who bore the brunt of a very unjust, unwise policy are first in line to be able to benefit from the ability to sell this legally in a regulated and controlled way.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, click the link below.